Right. So we do have a quorum tonight. We'll start with approval of the agenda for tonight. Does anybody have any additions or corrections? I would look for a motion to approve this agenda.
I make a motion to approve the agenda for the regular meeting November 27th, 2023.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Councilor Lundstrom?
Yes.
Councilor Guerrero?
Yes.
Councilor Spradlin?
Yes.
Councilor Clint-Cameron?
Yes.
Mayor Sherman?
Yes. That motion passes. We have a couple meetings of minutes to approve, so we'll start with our minutes from October 23rd, 2023. Does anybody have any corrections or revisions on that one? Nope. I would look for a motion to approve those.
I move we approve the regular meeting minutes for October 23, 2023.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Councilor Guerrero?
Yes.
Councilor Spradlin?
Yes.
Councilor Lundstrom?
Yes.
Councilor Clint-Cameron?
Yes.
Mayor Sherman?
Yes. That motion passes. Now we've got the minutes for November 13th. Does anybody have any additions or corrections on that one? If not, I'd look for a motion to approve.
I move we approve the regular meeting minutes for November 13th, 2023.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Councilor Clint-Cameron?
Yes.
Councilor Guerrero?
Yes.
Councilor Lundstrom?
Yes.
Councilor Spradlin?
Yes.
Mayor Sherman?
Yes. That motion passes. All right, number 5, visitors and delegations. First we have citizen comments. It doesn't look like we have anybody here for citizen comments. No? Okay. So we'll move on to management. Our first management item is going to be our resolution with Tyler giving us an update on that one.
All right, good evening, Madam Mayor, City Council. So this is a resolution just formally going through the approval that council had already given the last time that we met for the special use permit for the Black Thunder Investment Properties LLC mini storage warehouse and outdoor storage industrial zone, just north of Buildings by Design, Brest School District, that area right there. So this is, again, just the formal adoption of a resolution, contains all the conditions that we gave with that approval. For council to approve the resolution.
Very good. I'll look for a motion for that one.
I move that we approve resolution number 2023-15, a resolution containing findings of fact, conclusion, and order granting the application of Black Thunder Investment Properties LLC for a special use permit for mini storage warehouse and outdoor storage within the industrial zone.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Councilor Spradlin?
Yes.
Councilor Clint-Cameron?
Yes.
Councilor Lundstrom?
Yes.
Councilor Guerrero?
Yes.
Mayor Sherman?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tyler. That motion passes. The next resolution, we've got Joanne reporting on.
Before you this evening, you have a resolution to appropriate additional sums of money that were unexpected as of last year when we did the 2023 budget. So there are about 6 of these, I think. There's 8 different funds that would need to be supplemental budget. Some of it's because of unexpected items. The fire department ended up deciding to do the ladder truck, and so we paid down a portion of that. Capital reserve, police vehicles, that was unexpected with the snowstorm, and we're getting the regular one, but we also got 2 others, so that was a big one there. Water fund bought some land. The wastewater's blowers went down, so those have to be replaced, and that's a large ticket item. Joslyn Needham, we always do it every year, and that's pretty much the bulk of what is there. So at this time, this evening, we're asking that council approve this resolution.
I would look for a motion to approve this resolution. Anybody?
Move we approve resolution 2023-16, a resolution appropriating additional sums of money to defray expenses in excess amount budgeted for the city of Rush.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Spradlin,
Yes.
Counselor Garrell,
Yes.
Counselor Lindstrom,
Yes.
Counselor Klinkhammer,
Yes.
Mayor Sherman.
Yes. Very good. Thank you, Joanne. That motion passes. All right, we have a public hearing, amending the model traffic code, so I will open the public hearing. We have a staff report from Tyler Purvis.
Oh, that should have been the chief of police.
Oh,
Brandon.
we have a staff report from Brandon Flecksteiner.
I was gonna say, I wouldn't have anything to say about that.
I'd keep mine short and sweet as well. We do have, we unfortunately weren't able to get a second person into the academy starting in January. We were only able to find one applicant. So Katie Barrowman is the only one attending in January, but we'll probably start advertising for an academy position later in the year, so hopefully get some more positions then. Our community service officer, our second position, did start today, so we'll get her rolling, and hopefully she can get her through training as quickly as possible and get her in place to where we can start working on ordinance and stuff. So, other than that, it's
So that was your staff report, right? But you're-
We're on the, this
we're
is
on
the
pub-
public hearing for the
Gotcha.
amending the model traffic code sections.
my apologies.
That's okay.
So it started with our Judge Steve Jones. I went to him talking about the possibility of amending our model traffic code to get a driver's license ordinance getting put into place here. He had been aware of an ordinance that had been placed in another municipality, and he had some great success with it. So any opportunity we can get more enforcement into the city in the municipal court, I think is beneficial. I know the county court's overburdened and can only take so much, so any opportunity we have and we bring to the city, I think is beneficial. I think enforcement ends up being better handed for us to be able to manage, so I believe Dan Kropp had more info as far as how it was taking place and getting it put in place.
I do think Chief Flecksteiner did a great job of summarizing it. I believe this is the second reading. Is that correct?
Yes. Is this the second reading? Okay.
Yeah, so I think Brandon did a great job of summarizing it. I'm happy to try to answer any questions you guys might have.
Yeah, we had it introduced last time. We've got it all written out in our packet.
Sorry, I put you on the spot.
Does anybody else have any new questions? All right, thank you, Brandon. All right, public testimony. Does anybody in the public like to have anything to say about this one? No? Any further questions from council? So I will close the public hearing. I would make a motion. I would need a motion so we can close the public hearing.
I move we close the public hearing.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Lindstrom,
Yes.
Counselor Garrell,
Yes.
Counselor Spradlin,
Yes.
Counselor Klinkhammer,
Yes.
Mayor Sherman.
Yes. All right, that motion passes. So now we can do the second reading. So I would look for a motion to approve this ordinance on second reading.
I move that we approve upon second reading ordinance number 904-23, an ordinance amending sections 8-1-20 and 8-1-30 of the Brush Municipal Code regarding amendments to the model traffic code.
Second?
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Garrell,
Yes.
Counselor Klinkhammer,
Yes.
Counselor Spradlin,
Yes.
Counselor Lindstrom,
Yes.
Mayor Sherman.
Yes. All right, that motion passes. We have another public hearing about an annexation. So I will open the public hearing. Now we have a staff report from Tyler Purvis.
A very brief one. So this is the same annexation that council approved back in October. When we were going through the legal requirements, there seemed to be some ambiguity as to whether or not a first reading was sufficient or if we needed a second one. So we decided to play it safe and do a second one as well. So that's basically what we're here tonight for. So
Second reading.
that's my
Okay.
staff report.
Very good.
Does that cover all three of them?
Yeah, you gotta go through each one of them.
Okay.
And the reason for that, as a reminder, is that for the annexation, we had the three separate ones in order to get the contiguity necessary.
Okay.
so this is for the first one. Is there anyone in the public that would like to have testimony on this one? It does not look like it. So any final questions from council? Nope. So I'd look for a motion to close this public hearing.
I move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Klinkhammer?
Yes.
Counselor Spradlin?
Yes.
Counselor Gravel?
Yes.
Counselor Lindstrom?
Yes.
Mayor Sherman?
Yes. All right, so now I would look for a motion to approve on second reading this ordinance.
I move that we approve on second reading ordinance number 905-23, an ordinance concurrently annexing certain lands known as the Armbar Properties Annexation 1 to the city of Brush, Colorado.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Spradlin?
Yes.
Counselor Klinkhammer?
Yes.
Counselor Gravel?
Yes.
Counselor Lindstrom?
Yes.
Mayor Sherman?
Yes. All right, that motion passes. Now we have our second public hearing on this next annexation with another report from Tyler. Let's open the public hearing. Same thing. Okay. Any public testimony? Nope. Any more questions from council?
Nope.
All right, I would look for a motion to close this public hearing.
I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Lindstrom?
Yes.
Counselor Gravel?
Yes.
Counselor Klinkhammer?
Yes.
Counselor Spradlin?
Yes.
Mayor Sherman?
Yes. All right, so now I would look for a motion to approve on second reading the second annexation.
I move that we approve upon second reading ordinance number 906-23, an ordinance concurrently annexing certain lands known as the Armbar property, known at the Armbar Properties. Is it supposed to be at or as? Because the
As.
previous one was as. Okay, thank you. Known as the Armbar Properties Annexation 2 to the city of Brush, Colorado.
Second.
Jinx.
It's really like it's happening exactly the same every time. It's like Groundhog Day. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Lindstrom?
Yes.
Counselor Spradlin?
Yes.
Counselor Klinkhammer?
Yes.
Counselor Gravel?
Yes.
Mayor Sherman?
Yes. All right, that motion passes. And we will open the public hearing for the next ordinance for the third annexation. Tyler Purvis.
Ditto.
Any public testimony? No. Any more comments, questions from council? Nope. I will look for a motion to close this public hearing.
I move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Gravel?
Yes.
Counselor Klinkhammer?
Yes.
Counselor Lindstrom?
Yes.
Counselor Spradlin?
Yes.
Mayor Sherman?
Yes. That motion passes. So now I would look for a motion to approve on second reading this third annexation.
I move we approve on second reading ordinance number 907-23, an ordinance concurrently annexing and zoning certain lands known as the Armbar Properties Annexation 3 to the city of Brush, Colorado.
Second.
Any discussion?
Pass that time.
Roll call vote.
Counselor Klinkhammer?
Yes.
Counselor Lindstrom?
Yes.
Counselor Spradlin?
Yes.
Counselor Gravel?
Yes.
Mayor Sherman?
Yes. All right, that motion passes. We got all three annexations. All right, now we have the first reading of,
I should have saved myself because I know you guys aren't going to want to read it.
for another ordinance, we will have Tyler and Dan give us an update on this one.
All right, this one will be as quick as the last one we went through. So this one is for a franchise agreement with Allo Communications, entering into a franchise agreement with them. Allo Communications, a lot of folks, maybe everybody up in front of me is familiar with them as they serve Fort Morgan and have for a number of years now. They're based out of Nebraska, and so they reached out to City Council last year, actually a number of years ago. The conversation just kind of stalled for a few years, but then they were reignited last year, and so we had a presentation from Allo back in the December, January timeframe last year, and so we've been in discussions with them over the last 10 months or so on a franchise agreement. And so one was drafted together based on terms that have been done elsewhere. We looked at a few different communities' franchise agreements, and so our attorney Dan, as well as Allo's attorney, went back and forth a few times and have the franchise agreement in front of you. And so staff is satisfied with the terms of that agreement. Just briefly, just a couple highlights that might be more of interest. The term is for 15 years on the agreement. The service area that it entails is everything within city limits as well. And so as Brush grows, then the provider would be providing service for any additional areas of growth and the additional customers there. All the necessary construction standards and requirements that we have in place for right-of-way permits, they would be abiding with those. Customer service rules and rates, just going with the requirements of the FCC there. The franchise fee itself is 5% of the annual gross revenue that would be going to the city of Brush. And those fees, of course, would be tacked on to the fees that the community members would be paying. There will be 2 access channels for the city for access programming. And to clarify, this is for a cable network. They're looking at putting in a fiber network, but as part of their services, there is what's typically known as a cable package. If it was fiber only and no cable package, there would be no franchise agreement necessary, as that's not governed or required by the FCC. So any other provider can come in, and this is not exclusive, by the way, so any other provider can come in with a fiber or internet service as well, and not have to go through this process, but they want to provide these extra services to the community, and so that's why we have the agreement here before you. And in addition to this, ALLO is also offering the city with complimentary fiber internet service for 2 years to all the City of Brush buildings. There are some conditions with that as well. That's not part of this agreement, since this is fiber internet and this is the franchise agreement itself. So staff does recommend approval. You can't make approval tonight, just more of a presentation. It's required of a franchise agreement to have 2 separate readings, so this is the first one, and then we'll have another one at our next meeting of council, so it chooses overnight.
It has to go through the ordinance process with the public hearing and the second reading, so it will likely be the first meeting in January because of the second meeting in December that Monty will discuss during staff reports. The time frame doesn't allow us to do the publication and for the public hearing and the
So tonight has to
body
happen,
of the
and then it has
ordinance.
to be 15 days after.
A minimum of 15 and a minimum of 8.
Between the 2.
And we have 14 days before our next meeting.
Got it. Well, nonetheless.
We'll get it. I have a question.
Yes, bring it up.
Okay, so are they doing cable and fiber internet, or just it's just because we only need a franchise agreement for the cable part? That doesn't mean you're not going to do the internet, correct?
Yeah, and Bob is here with ALLO, and he's actually going to give a little spiel. So I'll go and turn over you, Bob.
Well, before we do that, I'm sorry, can I ask a question of you,
Sure.
Tyler? Just for clarity, we are doing this because the FCC requires a franchise agreement for cable services, so this is like a governmental required procedure, am I understanding you correctly?
For those services, if I'm understanding this properly, and Dan, you can hop in, the FCC, and cable has been around for quite a while, obviously, and so I would imagine the evolution of those services have required, in order to manage expectations and to keep some things somewhat consistently, a set of guidelines that communities and service providers can enter into on terms that they agree to. The FCC, I think, does put overall boundaries around it, and within that you can do a lot of different things, but it creates an element of protection both for the community members and local government. Dan, is that somewhat accurate?
Yeah, it's again, you and Brandon are making my job easy. That's right on par. The Colorado statutes provide that you can establish a franchise agreement for cable services, but they don't allow you to do it for internet service and telephone service, and that's just all set up in the Colorado statutes. But yes, Tyler's correct.
Thank you. Thank you, Tyler.
You're welcome. Any other questions for me? All right. Podium is yours, Bob.
And just as a reminder, my name's Bob Beiersdorf. I'm a general manager for ALLO Communications for all of Colorado. So thanks for having me. I really didn't prepare remarks as much as I wanted to be here to answer any questions that you may have. So to your question, Mayor. And one thing I want to make a distinction of, again, ALLO only brings fiber to the premises. So when we use the term cable, it's all fiber. So video services are actually what creates the need for that cable franchise agreement. It's the old language, right, of cable TV, if you think of it that way, but that applies to any kind of TV video services. So yes, it would be, the services again will be really fast internet, and then TV services, or cable in this case, is kind of the term
Seems like they
loosely.
should come up with a new name for it, since it's not actually cable anymore.
It's true.
Yeah.
And then the other would be phone service, both for, again, for residential or business, or, anybody in town. So just kind of depends. Most people, at home really don't want to, don't opt for a landline anymore, but some do. So we continue to provide that service.
Very good.
Bob, at one time we had talked about there's a potential of a office, Allo office in Brush. Is that still being discussed?
Still on the table. What we're really looking for is a little bit of help finding a location here. So we've gotten, and I should just give you kind of a quick update on where we're at with our activities. So we've actually started, the design is all complete, so we're ready to hit the ground running at this point and start digging. And then the permitting as well for all the poles, we're pretty close to having that complete as well. So just for the aerial portions, again, most is going to be underground, right? And then so as far as the office goes, yeah, still interested in putting that in place, but we are looking for a location that we can get an economical lease rate on. And again, we'd love to have all your help, and Tyler's been great on all this. So, but that's one of the things too that we'd still like to spend a little bit of time with the city on, and kind of evaluate what those possibilities and opportunities are. Yeah.
Super.
Your Sessions building just went up for sale today.
I saw that.
Downtown, so.
I have a question. What is your goal in reach as far as residential? So I understand sometimes when we drop fiber lines, you can only have so many that go so far. What is your goal for your reach? Is it to reach everyone within city limits?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and then, I just should, just kind of reemphasize, I know we talked about this a while back, but again, how we split that fiber as well, we don't split it very many times, so to your neighborhood or whoever's at the outer reaches of city limits, they're gonna, when everybody's home at the end of the day at 7 p.m., that kind of thing, you're still gonna get that really fast speeds when all those devices are even connected at your home as well. But that's gonna reach out to all areas within your city limits.
Okay. Can I also ask, I noticed that myself and other residents, we got little hangers, door hangers on our door that said y'all were coming. What was your goal by doing that if you're not actually here yet?
Just letting folks know that activity, what we find in most communities is that it takes multiple attempts and a lot of iteration to make sure folks are clear that, hey, this is going to happen, and want you to make sure that if we happen to be in your backyard in an easement, as an example, that you know it's coming. So that way you're prepared in terms of maybe having dogs out back or whatever it might be. So the idea is to communicate. And the only reason that we're not at the point of digging yet is that we just need to get the cable franchise agreement approved. So again, assuming hopefully that you'll see fit to approve that CFA, but that's the idea is we're a coming, and we want to let people know that it's going to happen here shortly.
So right now, can they call the office, say in like Fort Morgan, and do you have pricing packages put together for them? I believe Larry had asked you previously, and I believe you were going to look into it about some of the, I'm sorry, I should be more formal. Counselor Lundstrom asked you if you were going to have options available for the low income, like the
Yes.
elderly. And so do you have all that put together?
Well, we have, so all those programs are in place, so we'll offer those right out of the gate.
Okay.
And then, so think about the Affordable Connectivity Program, which you might be familiar with, or ACP, you'll commonly hear it referred to as. And that's a federal program that that has now, it was it was scheduled to run out of money about the middle of next year. Now that's been re-upped, and there's more money coming in, so that's great. But what that does is help subsidize those that can qualify, that are eligible for that program. So through things like free and reduced lunch, that would give you eligibility as an example. And there's probably 9 criteria. And if you can qualify for any one of those, then you're eligible for ACP. What ALLO does is, if you're eligible for it, the subsidy will be provided, and then to us, and then we'll just give you free service at the lowest, the lowest service levels that you get, which is going to be extremely fast anyway. But you just won't have any. You're not going to have any cost through that program. So for those that can qualify, that might, again, be of a lower socioeconomic status, we've got programs to help those individuals, yeah.
Last question, I know you may have probably touched on it and maybe I misunderstood, but you are offering a landline service, correct?
Yes.
Okay, because we do have that reverse 911, especially
Yep,
for elderly
absolutely.
and people who don't have cell phones. Believe it or not, they still exist.
Yeah.
So I just
I
wanted
get
to
it.
make sure.
Yeah, that's, for those that want it, again, we see a declining interest level in, in landlines for the obvious reasons. But again, there are people, and sometimes a certain demographic, it might be people who look maybe a little bit more like me in terms of age-wise, that find that landline still a little bit interesting. I don't find it particularly interesting, but I think it's a little bit, that demographic has a tendency to be where we.
I think you'll also find it in the homes of first responders. We
Yes.
tend to know the
Great
value
point.
of having our landlines.
Excellent point. Yes.
I happen to be one that has a landline.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for answering my questions. I look forward to this. I think it's going to be great.
Well, we're excited to bring the service, and it's been a while coming, long time coming. So your team's done a fantastic job, getting us to this point. It's taken a little longer than we were all hoping for, but I think we're there. And again, I'm looking for, hopefully we can get your acceptance of the CFA, and then we can get going here real quick. And just on a timing standpoint too, because that might be another question. Was really hoping for that December 11th meeting, for the second reading to happen, because we want to get bores into the ground starting in January. So it sounds like that might need to wait a little bit to the beginning of January. But even at that time, we're likely to start our construction as quickly as soon as January. Yeah, for what that's
So,
worth.
quick question, Lou, if we do a special meeting,
I think we could do a special.
we still do, because we're going to cancel the second meeting in December, but we can do a special meeting if there's a need. So we'll see how things play out time-wise, and then we'll throw a recommendation out to the city council.
Are we doing the 28th of December?
That's for you to just come into the office, but I mean, you could set it that day, do the bills at the same time. That's actually a Thursday.
We could even do it before Christmas.
Yeah, we could do it before Christmas too.
Since some
Because really,
people are on
there's just
vacation.
we're just one day off that we need that 15 days, right? It just has to be 15 days after today.
Yeah, and the publication deadline would be this week for next week. We couldn't get it into the paper this week, but we could next Wednesday for brush.
Okay.
So we'll double check all the dates, and then we'll make a recommendation to the council.
Very good.
All good?
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, so to start with, I need a counselor to introduce this one by title.
I'd like to introduce on first reading ordinance number 908-23, an ordinance granting a non-exclusive franchise by the City of Brush, Colorado to Allo Communications LLC and its lawful successors, transferees, and assigns for the right to make reasonable and lawful use of the rights of way within the city to construct, operate, maintain, reconstruct, repair, and upgrade a cable system for the purpose of providing cable services to citizens within the City of Brush, Colorado, and adopting the franchise agreement as the primary code by reference.
Very good. So now I would look for a counselor to make a motion to approve and publish on first reading.
I move we approve and publish on first reading ordinance number 908-23, an ordinance granting a non-exclusive franchise by the City of Brush, Colorado to Allo Communications LLC and its lawful successors, transferees, and assigns for the right to make reasonable and lawful use of the right-of-way within the city to construct, operate, maintain, reconstruct, repair, and upgrade a cable system for the purpose of providing cable services to the citizens with the city of Brush, Colorado, and adopting the franchise agreement as a primary code by reference.
Second.
Any discussion? Good job. Roll call vote.
Counselor Spradlin?
Yes.
Counselor Garrell?
Yes.
Counselor Clinkhammer?
Yes.
Counselor Lindstrom?
Yes.
Mayor Sherman?
Yes. That motion passes. I just have to know who came up with that title. That's a lawyer thing right there.
Yeah, we were having a debate who's
What's
going
Tyler?
to
Okay, we'll move on to finance.
I move we approve disbursements and payroll for October 23, 2023 through November 13th, 2023 totaling $690,662.48.
Second.
Do we want to combine them both? We've got two.
Do we need to combine them or just do them separately?
We can. Okay, we'll just do them separate. We've wasted all this time just talking about it, so I'm just kidding. All right, any discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Spradlin?
Yes.
Counselor Clinkhammer?
Yes.
Counselor Lindstrom?
Yes.
Counselor Garrell?
Yes.
Mayor Sherman?
Yes. All right, that motion passes. And we have another one.
I move we approve disbursements and payroll for November 14th, 2023 through November 27th, 2023 totaling $339,106.72.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Lindstrom?
Yes.
Counselor Clinkhammer?
Yes.
Counselor Garrell?
Yes.
Counselor Spradlin?
Yes.
Mayor Sherman?
Yes. All right, that motion passes. We'll move on to staff reports. Tyler Purvis.
All right, just two things this evening. Don't get nervous if I brought up my computer. I was just going to read something specifically. We'll go ahead and knock that one out. This is more for the business community. The Chamber of Commerce, a month or so ago, they found out about a program called the Community Business Preservation Program that's done through the Office of Economic Development and International Trade, OEDIT. And it's a grant from $10,000 to $50,000 per business in the selected community, and they're looking for, I think it's, I'm gonna say 5 or 6 businesses within different communities to potentially fund. And the intention of it is to, I lost my spot on this page here, I'm sorry. Here we go. To groups of geographically proximate and culturally similar businesses that are facing displacement pressures and that hold cultural, social, or historic significance in Colorado. And then there's a variety of different things that it does and does not qualify for. And so just broadly putting that out here now so the community is aware of it. The Chamber has been promoting this over the last few weeks. I don't think they've gotten any response, which is surprising because that's a lot of potential money for businesses to tap into. The Chamber has to be the sponsoring entity, but the close on that is December 4th, so there's only roughly 1 week left on that for businesses to dive into. So big opportunity that in addition to our CARES program that we have in place for businesses. So.
And I think on that one, the business had to be established before September of 2021.
That.
And I don't know that we have a whole lot of businesses that are still in business that would.
We've brainstormed, there's quite a few of them that technically could.
Oh, okay.
So, since no one's reached out to them.
Yeah, there
it's
you
not
go.
gonna be-
Culturally, whatever though.
Significant.
Well, that's
I'm not
subjective.
afraid
so-
of getting displaced either. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of subjectivity to that, so there's a lot of room, I think, to argue your point as well, as it is with most grants.
Yeah.
It's all about perspective. And then the other thing is not Wednesday last week, but the Wednesday before, we had our Urban Renewal Authority meeting over at the Sands. I tried to count 23 people or so that came to that, and we had representation from all the special districts. A couple of people I didn't know, so I don't know if they were community members or what. They came just that were interested about it. Good information went forward. Jariah Walker came up from Colorado Springs and did a good job articulating the complexity of the concept of an urban renewal authority. So next steps on that are each of the special districts is for them to have discussions. I'll reach out to the main contact for each one of those, and touch base with them. They'll talk with their boards, and then we're all going to get back together in January after the holidays to get everyone's thoughts on it. It's a great opportunity as far as just how the whole thing is positioned itself. The City of Brush, City Council are the ones who would officially put that in place. You guys would vote on, yes, we want to have an urban renewal authority in this designated area. And then as a project goes forward, we then go back out to all the special districts and say, are you willing to support this project? And then determine everything from that direction. So if you have other questions on it, we'll talk about it more in the future, but just want to let you guys know that that event happened. Overall, I thought it went pretty decent, and we'll see where things go from here.
So is it possible that you would put together a proposal for us on a specific area to approve a URA in the
I can
area?
come with some ideas on what makes the most sense, because, I mean, off the top of my head, I can think of 5 different things, and so it's really overall, if it's something we want to go forward, what do we want to pursue first? And then if it's successful, we can continue to go for the next one. But the whole thing is set for a certain time frame, for 25 years, I think it is. So once you establish it until the end of 25 years and it sunsets, it's setting aside those funds throughout that time that you can dive into. So even if the project happens 7 years in, and we say, well, that was a failure, technically you still have another 18 years, I don't know why it would be a failure, but another 18 years after that where funds would be available to access to help a development go forward.
Well, the first step would be setting up the authority, right? And then-
Yeah, set up authority, and then you would have a plan in place that has to be approved along with it as well. Have a board that's established. There's a couple of different pieces that all kind of melt together. That's all I got.
Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you.
Brandon Flecksteiner, did you have anything more?
Seeing as I was out of sync with the agenda from earlier, so we're just reiterating, we do have 1 officer going into the academy in January, so we're excited about that. We wanted to get 2, unfortunately we couldn't get a second person. And then our second CSO started today, it's Brianna Hastings, so she's going to currently ride around with some of our patrol guys and kind of just get the little facets of kind of the patrol status, as they end up helping quite a bit anyways. But other than that, just busy stuff going on. I was running code all over the place, helping the officer was on duty, so a lot going on. But if anybody has any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we've got Joey Gossett.
Just real quickly, let all of council know, the finance committee is going to come in on December the 28th and sign off on the last batch of bills to be paid before the end of the year. So we'll have 2 to be approved in that first council meeting in December. The other thing was, I believe Loranda sent out an email today asking if you wanted your budget hard copy or digital. Please let us know what you want, and that's what you'll get.
And Joanne, you'll put it on the city website as well?
Yeah,
Copy of
it
it,
goes on
so-
the city website, yes.
So is that what you mean by the digital, or?
Yeah, that would
Yeah,
be digital.
that's your digital, okay.
Yeah, it's a PDF file is what it is.
I bet that's a big PDF file.
It is.
It's also an awfully big notebook, and then they start taking up space in your closet.
I
It's like,
agree.
I don't need any more.
Well, and if you ever wanted to
Save it short.
just bring it back in and
Okay.
take care of it and get rid of it.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you. Miranda Beckard.
Tonight's meeting does not include video stream. We have sound, but we don't have video, so I'll get in touch with the school district first thing tomorrow and see what they can do to fix that for us. And then Chan McCall will be at the December 11th meeting up here on the dais with you guys. And then Monty will talk about the December 25th meeting, or we kind of already touched on that. That's all I have.
Good. So that January 11th, or the first meeting in
December
Jan-
11th.
The January meeting. Oh, December, is that when Chan will be?
Yes.
here?
Did I say
Okay.
January? I
I
meant
don't-
December.
No, you probably didn't. I just had
Our
January.
first meeting in January will be the 8th, and I'll be at that meeting. for
Okay,
sure.
because that'll be swearing in.
Yes.
Okay.
That'll be a big meeting for us.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Thank you. Dan Crabb, City Attorney, you got anything for us?
Just real briefly, and this is more for Monty than anyone, but we have a 9:30 conference call about wrapping up some land transfers that have been in the works for a couple decades now. So we're moving forward on that. Happy to answer any questions.
Anybody have any questions for Dan? Nope. All right, thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
And Monty Torres.
Okay, just to reiterate, the second meeting in December, we'll let everyone know as soon as we can on the earlier special meeting that we'll do instead of that one. And we should know in the next couple days on that. The other thing is, I'll just add on to Dan's comment in regards to the property. This is a property that we had discussed with council a while back. Land that was supposed to be dedicated or given to the city about 20 years ago. And with ownership changes and other things that happened with the company, they're finally in a position where they feel they can get that transfer done. It's roughly 120 acres of farm ground. So we're hoping that that all comes through. We'll know a lot more tomorrow after that 9:30 meeting that Dan's going to be participating on that call. The other thing is, I could not remember, but if I relayed this or not, but we had a meeting with the fire department a while back, some of the city council members, and we talked about a few joint purchases. And if you've already heard this, I'm sure there's some council members that may not have heard this, but the thermal imaging equipment, the rule board agreed to pay for 50% of that, so we're going to pay for the other 50%. And then on the Quonset or the metal building, they opted not to cost share on that part of it, but council had given some direction to move forward with getting that constructed. So I've talked to the fire chief, and he's going to go out to bid on that project as far as a steel building versus a Quonset, and we really support that. So he's aware of that, and on both those projects or purchases, they're planning to do those first of the year, so we don't have to worry too much about the budget this year. And we'll post the bids on the city website in the standard way that we do bids for buildings and things like that. And we should be able to, if we do this all first part of the year, by spring we should be building the building. And I'll ask Tad just to keep us apprised of that project. And that's all I have.
Very good. Thank you. All right, does anyone on council have anything to share? Report, rather?
I would just like to remind the community of the tree lighting this coming Friday from 4 to 6 downtown. Lots of things going on. Come join us.
Yep. Oh, I forgot to mention the Giving Tree is up in City Hall as well.
Yep. There's lots of those around.
Mhm.
Yeah, we have lots of little ones around town, and there are lots of names. We have more right now than we had last year. All the community support and help that we can get is greatly appreciated.
Anybody else? All right. So I would look for a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Move we adjourn.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right. We are adjourned. We'll go into our work session.
My theory is just that Brandon wanted to help us get through here faster.
So Monty, when the rule board said they're gonna pay for half, were you quiet for a
Disagree.
few minutes?
I heard staff report. My
Was I,
brain-
did you go quiet like, what?
Wrong.
Was it-